And is this right? Yeah.
Hey, Chief.
Good evening, how are you?
Doing well.
It's not, I guess it's not really evening yet, but
It's evening.
close enough. It's
Say
dark.
after 5 is dark.
I thought it was 6. But
You're not.
it's dark, whatever. It works.
I call to order the Berlin Township Trustees regular meeting for December 9th, 2024. If you'll join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call roll. Trustee Bullard is absent tonight. Trustee O'Brien. Here. Trustee Briel.
Here.
With that, again, as I mentioned before, I'm vice chairman and I'm chairing tonight's meeting. And so when I refer to myself as chair, of course, it's as chair of the meeting, not of the board. So that takes us to public comment. This is the time if the public wishes to speak. Hearing none, I'll move on to the next item, approval of minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I sent the feedback to Mr. Jordan for the 9/23 meeting minutes. Were you able to make the modification requested?
Yes.
Okay, and you sent it back to me today?
Yes.
Let me just look at that very briefly, if you don't mind.
No,
Okay,
no problem.
thank you. That was the only.
There's a sentence in there that what happened was it was in the transcript and I meant to edit it out, but didn't.
Okay.
So now I have.
Okay.
Thank you for catching it.
Oh, no problem. Just wanted to confirm how to set it up there. Okay. Okay, so he would like a statement that says. Okay, so Trustee O'Brien reported that he reviewed the cell phone policy and agrees with it. It is in 2 sections. One alludes to the acceptance that there is where they check that they are following a township policy. It is not really stated in the policy that to follow the township policy because it talks about federal. It talks about state, but does not talk about power. So he would like a statement that says, and then ... put it in. So what was the statement? And the statement is,
There was a red sentence in there that you had read it, I presume.
yeah, the red was, so he would like a statement that says ... put it in.
I just.
You just removed it?
Yeah, I removed that.
Oh, okay, so you just got rid of it?
Yes.
Okay. Would you mind just modifying that to maybe say, so Mr. Bryan would like a statement within the policy, and then period. And then secondly, reimbursement, Mr. O'Brien thought that consensus was not to do that. Wait, okay, now I'm confused. It says, secondly, reimbursement, he thought that consensus was not to do that, delete all the reimbursement part, and he agrees with the policy. He recommends that the township have Mr. Riebenhoff review the policy before it is included in here. Okay, so this was a section that was where we didn't want to do the reimbursement for it, but it's just a little bit confusing the way it's written.
Correct. Well, it talked about reimbursement when in fact it shouldn't be talked about at all.
At all,
So it was-
yeah.
So
For
then it's
the
different.
policy, what I'm mentioning is the notes are a little confusing as to what that means. So, maybe if you would, just to verify, so then we modify the meeting minutes here to say, after, but it does not talk about power. Then right before secondly, say, Mr. O'Brien would like to assure that is added. Trustee O'Brien, thank you. Secondly, for reimbursement, I would say secondly, for reimbursement in the policy, Mr. Trustee O'Brien thought, and then that would be perfect. That makes sense of it. Thought that consensus was not to do that, and then say, so delete the reimbursement part. The basic policy. Right. Okay, that makes sense of it. Sometimes I read it late at night, so I don't know if I'm the one confused or if it's just confusing. Like,
There are going to be times when I'm not really sure what's being said, and so
Oh, absolutely.
I kind of just take it out of the transcript.
right, and that's why we review the notes too. So, with those edits, I move to approve the September 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes and dispense with reading.
Second, discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll go ahead and have, I actually will have all of the meeting feedback to you, to the fiscal officer by the 23rd. So we can approve the other meeting minutes or modify as needed on that day.
Thank you. That takes us to number 6, discuss, consider, and take action regarding damage to the township hall. Did we get our reimbursement check yet?
No, we did not. I thought I was going to get the items that Mr. Peden was collecting up, and I was going to submit it all. Today I learned from Mr. Peden, I believe he has already turned those items in. So I will check with Mr. C and see if he's got those, and if he does, I will go ahead and get the siding and the roof in.
Okay.
And then there's the form about the final form, and who signs that? I'm not sure if we ever actually drew a final conclusion on that.
When you submit to Mr. C, you're also sending the certification of completion?
I believe he actually already has it,
Okay,
but yes.
so then.
To the extent that I have it, I don't know if I have it.
So, you're asking they should just reimburse us at that point in time. We shouldn't.
Yes, but they have a form, there's the form that the certification that this is the whole claim form.
Okay, so I move that we authorize the chairman of the board, Ron Bullard, to execute any documentation in regards to the damage to the township hall and other assets as a result of the March 14th severe weather event.
Second?
Moved by the chairs, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion, please call roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
That takes us to fire department. Requisitions, we don't have any, right?
I have no requisitions to see and serve.
Odor issues?
The engineering firm that completed the RFP for us provided me with 2 names. I've made contact with both, sent it to one. The other has not reached back out. I will try that this week. I'll attempt a second contact with that second firm just to have some competitive bids. But if they don't call me back, then we'll have at least hopefully one bid. So that's in progress. That will be, I believe, due to be taken care of at January 9th meeting. I didn't want to do anything at the 23rd meeting.
SOPs, SOGs?
I'm still waiting Mr. Stocko's feedback from his comments. I emailed him a number of questions and I have not heard anything. I re-emailed him again on Friday. I CC'd you on that, Mr. Bryant, and I have not heard back from him as yet. So I will, again later this week, email him again and see if I can light a fire on him.
Okay, organizational analysis?
I reported in my report on Thursday that we would be meeting with Mr. Pegram on the 13th. However, they experienced death of a retired fire official down in that area who worked for Chief Pegram for many years. He's speaking at his funeral, which is Friday, so he canceled Friday and rescheduled for next Friday. So we'll be meeting with him. We'll basically be doing some preliminary work, getting data, we'll be taking some pictures, doing some of that kind of stuff. I will be finalizing 2 dates in January, giving everybody's feedback that I've got so far, that we will be able to sit down and have interviews, taking into consideration as much as I can, trying to put 20 or so people's schedules together, sometimes challenging, but if worst case scenario, if he has to meet with somebody individually, after those 2 dates, we can work those things out, so. I know your schedule's pretty.
Mine's very tight, very tight. But I'm happy also to write up like a brief, like one pager on the things I want to make certain are included in there.
And then
If it works out to me or me individually, I'm happy to.
Yeah, and then, we can also look at, use of technology, or something like that, and so we can, do it face to face.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. We'll figure something. I'll see what the dates are. I think we'll do it soon.
So when you say we on next Friday, who's we?
Just me, he's gonna be at the fire station, him and I. Okay. Just getting together, like I said, it's very preliminary, we'll be gathering data, pulling run statistics, things like that. Training information, basically stuff he needs to get from the fire department. We'll be doing that kind of stuff. He said he'd be taking some pictures and, that kind of thing. So, that's where we're at with that.
Is it Pegram?
Pegram, P-E-G-R-A-M.
Thank you.
Steve Pegram is his name. He's now again a fire chief, so he got appointed to be a fire chief in the neighboring community the other day, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That takes us to the fire department updates.
Just a couple. I do have a resignation for this evening. Samantha Leinhart, who was one of the ones we were trying to track down for the fraud training. She has submitted her resignation. She's accepted a full-time position and had some changes in life this year, so she's no longer able to work with her. So I would ask the board for a motion to accept the resignation of part-time firefighter Samantha Leinhart, Al Wilbur, from the Berlin Township Fire Department, effective at 0800 on January 17th, 2024. That was the last shift she worked.
I move that we accept Samantha Reinhardt Wilbur resignation effective 0800 on January 17, 2024.
Second?
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion. Please call roll.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes. Transfer of money. Or
I have one more update for you, sorry. Crews from 311 unit responded to a serious traffic accident on 37 the other day involving a tanker truck carrying hazardous materials. Fortunately, we had no release of significant hazardous materials. We did have some diesel fuel spill, but nothing of any significance. It was carrying a flammable product called xylene. The tank held up very well in the crash. It rolled over and struck some trees. So crews were on the scene for about 10 hours. Just making sure that did not release and there wasn't any catastrophic problems with that until they got the truck back on its wheels where it belonged. I'd just like to throw a thank you to the crews that were there. Again, our 3 unit, 1 unit, both, and then Delaware County EMS Medic 10, Medic 1, Captain 462, Tri-Townships Fire, Delaware County EMA, Ohio EPA, the County Sheriff, ODOT, Ohio State Patrol, and then Worthington Fire sent up a hazmat representative. Just as a consultant, so their battalion chief, and then Sunbury Heavy Duty and I was towing for the recovery company. So everybody did a really great job. It went very smoothly. I couldn't ask for a better response. So,
That's fantastic to hear. Best and worst case scenario. Were there any fatalities?
No.
Okay.
In fact, the driver of the truck was minor injuries. He was treated and released. Medic 1 transported him, but he was back on scene within 2 hours. So he did extremely well. We have a toy drive Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This isn't on your report, but I added it today to benefit the people in need, the PIN. So there'll be a drive for toy drive. If any of you guys want to come out and help us out, you're more than welcome. And if you want to donate toys, you're more than welcome to do that too. And then my last item under updates is just a request to be excused from the December 23rd meeting. I have a event I'll be representing the Department of Work at that on that date, so in the evening. So I appreciate the ability to be excused.
So will Assistant Chief be at that meeting?
No, unfortunately, that's a 3 units, and that's his day in Vermont, so he won't be able to be here. If you need somebody here, I can, have one of the guys come up. I don't know who will actually be there that day. I believe Captain Swanson, Captain Malachi Swanson is off that day, so I don't know if we'll have an actual officer. I can find somebody to come in and go if you absolutely need somebody here. If not, I'll be available by phone if you need something.
So the one item that is on here, so let's talk about the next item and then we can come back to that. Transfer money from new fire engine to capital.
Yes, there's a $500,000 transfer and transfers out on our budget this year. I'd like to have that transfer complete to the 4911 fire department capital account for capital purchases.
Is there any objection from the board on that?
I just didn't understand the context, money for the new, so you're wanting to put it into the capital improvement fund so that you can pay for the fire truck?
Yeah, or future capital purchases. I'm gonna be transferring money from the budget every year just into that account just to pay for future capital purchases. So that $500,000 will help pay for probably partially the fire truck that's coming in 26, and then future other purchases as well. So I'm just gonna
Okay, so it's not for the fire engine?
not specifically, no.
Okay,
No,
that's
it's just in the capital for items such as fire engines or big ticket, the big ticket stuff.
I don't have a problem with the transfer of it. Just want to make certain that, we're kept apprised that you have, fiscal responsibility and those kinds of things. So, and you do a great job informing us of those things, so.
So, it's something that I want done because we know the big purchases are going to happen and we need to have that money
Available, yes.
And that's why I also want that to happen in roads, and I've been pushing roads to
Very
do
similar,
it.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so with that, I don't have an objection.
Great, thank you.
Nobody coming on the 23rd.
You don't have exactly nobody coming in the 23rd? No, perfect, thank you.
Do we-
And then we'll do that transfer at the organizational meeting.
Okay. And I also think, your written reports are robust enough that if you send an update, that would be totally sufficient for that too.
Absolutely, thank you.
Let me make sure I'm clear on something. We made the end of year meeting, the 23rd at 4:30.
Correct.
Does the organizational meeting follow that?
Immediately.
Immediately follows.
Okay. The organizational meeting from 2024 said that those would be on December 30. Do we need to do something in terms of a posting or a legal ad or anything to announce that change?
So I thought that had already happened.
Yeah, we already did that.
But if it hasn't happened, it does need to be advertised. That's the one that does need advertised because that's in the advertisement.
Parameters.
Yes.
But we did that, remember before
We
Thanksgiving?
passed it. Yeah, it was a resolution. Does it need to be posted? It needs to be posted in
Notice in
the
the
Delaware Gazette.
Yes.
Is there a particular wording?
I'd look at how it's been done in the past.
Okay. I will get it posted.
Because it may also require our, how we notice all the meetings. So I'd look at how that was worded because that's gone through the prosecutor's office.
But it needs to be out 10 days in advance.
I don't know that to be so.
Have you already, sent the notice for
This afternoon,
the hearing?
for the hearing on the
2 p.m.
23rd at 2 p.m. that
Okay,
I did hear back from Trustee Buller, who said he was available at 2 o'clock that day. He would show up. So I went ahead and emailed that ad.
okay, so that was, I was thinking maybe you could just.
Now,
do it.
if if we want it in the Wednesday paper, the deadline for submitting is 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, I have a question. This is just a question. Should we have, if it's being advertised, just have the organizational meeting immediately, or the year-end meeting and well, let's start with the year-end meeting, immediately following this, I don't know that you can do that. You have to have a time certain for that. We'll just have to come back at 4:30 if the hearing ends earlier.
Correct. And I was prepared for that.
Okay.
The odds of it ending earlier are slim. So I figured, give it enough time that we can go through the whole thing. And then if we do get done early, we have an hour between, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, just as long as you're aware of the
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, but we shouldn't change the start time to that.
Okay.
So yes or no?
So,
Oh, yes,
Get it done tomorrow by 10 o'clock.
yes. Because even if it may not be the case, by the time we look and confirm and all of that, I just don't want to, better safe than sorry.
yes.
So then, the same notice that we used last year to inform the newspaper of all of our meeting times is the same notice that you should use, but just with the December 23rd meeting, 4:30, regular trustee meeting with the
Year-end meeting.
year-end meeting with the organizational meeting to immediately follow.
I have to post about the. Yes, somebody calls me when I'm driving. I
Okay,
have to post on the
And
organizational meeting.
I think I sent to all of you, but I sent the items that I need to send, the dates for the events next year are all sent. My roster's been sent, and I will finish, I sent you the budget, some of the budget stuff, so I'll finish it, later this week and get to you. I have all the expenditures now, at least for the most part, so I can get the expenditures versus the appropriations versus what I've appropriated next year.
yeah, we have, thank you, that makes sense, and we have a few items that we have to prepare for this December 23rd meeting then too.
Yes, but before we get to that, can you refer me back to when you sent the dates?
Last week, probably Friday, when I hit you guys with a flurry of emails, like 3 or 4 of them, all at once. It was an attachment that says budget and other items or something like that, because Jeff asked me the same thing. He sent me an email today, said, hey, send me this stuff. I already did. I'm ahead of it. And he had found it, so.
So it's with the budget?
Yes, it says budget and other things. There's
Budget and other news.
Yes, there's 3 or 4 attachments with that. That's all the information that is needed for that meeting. And if there's something else I need,
I thought that looked great.
Okay, and so you've informed the MA of those dates as well?
not yet, but I will.
Okay, because that's important so that others,
Yeah, once they're,
because you check with them that ours doesn't conflict with anybody else's, right?
I put ours on the same dates that they have been in the past.
Yeah.
So I talked with the guys at the station, they told me we do the Easter egg thing, the Saturday before Easter, looked up Easter's date, put it on the Saturday, not the Saturday directly before, but the weekend before.
So is that a no?
Is that a no what?
Did you ask EMA?
I did not, no.
Because I asked you to do that.
Well,
Just double check with them
I will.
then too for
I will
that.
double check.
Because it might affect time, but generally we do it first so that we get first dibs,
Yeah,
but just check with them, please.
and then just confirm via email. That makes sense.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then did we want to do, we had debated on the open house.
Yes, now, I won't be a trustee at that time, so.
Oh, right. Oh,
So you have, I will do what you guys want to do. I will do what you trustees want to do.
I know we discussed this, you felt like it's a different variant and probably worth retaining, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I like the open house, I thought it was fantastic.
Then let's go with the chief's recommendation to retain it for the next year. I'll confirm that with trustee Bowman.
Yeah, I've set that, I mean, that date is set for the same
Yeah.
Saturday as, or Sunday as it was.
And the reason why we were even debating not doing it had largely to do with, the low turnout previous years, but this past one, we had really good turnout, so if people want to show up and they are showing up, I think just a few nice modifications that you recommended, maybe the trustees inside, those kinds of things would, just kind of cap off the event nicely.
Yeah, the coloring contest really helped bring out the
Mhm.
voters, so that's,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people were there for the coloring contest prizes and the recognition, but
Yeah. we should-
regardless of how we got them there, we got them there.
Mhm.
So I think it was a good event, and, I think we should continue.
Yeah. Great, okay, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With the board's indulgence, I think we might switch to one,
Yeah.
if no objection. So we have received from Rumpke the contract for residential refuse, garbage collection, and recycling signed by Mr. Rumpke. And there are no exceptions.
Correct.
So, questions?
No, I don't have any questions, as long as, Mr. Stocco is comfortable with it.
Mr. Sacco wanted to make sure that we had Mr. Rumpke's signature before we signed, and we have it.
Okay.
Now, the issue will be order. So, I don't know, do you know when Berkshire or Delaware meets?
Berkshire meets later tonight. I do not know about Delaware Township.
So, I don't know if they can be signed in parts, but we'll sign now.
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah.
we need to get it to Berkshire and Delaware Township. Mr. Jordan, can you get that to them so that they can sign off on it as well?
The contract,
Once we sign it.
once we sign, yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. I move that we approve,
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Yep, me
I'll
too.
see you again.
Safe travels.
Thank
the
you.
contract for residential refuse and garbage collection with recycling that has no exceptions and, is signed by Mr. Wilkie.
Second.
If I can add a friendly amendment, because I know that Mr. Bullard wanted to be able to sign off on any ancillary documents that might need to be followed up. So to that, if I can get a friendly amendment to allow trustee Bullard to execute any follow-up documents to make this contract effective.
Authorized.
Okay. With that friendly amendment, moved by the chair, second by trustee Rail. Further discussion? Please call roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien, yes.
So there's a couple of blanks here. Fiscal officer Jordan needs to be filled out, the resolution number and so forth. So just take a minute for me to sign.
I'd like to thank trustee Bullard for coordinating this as well, and helping to get it across the finish line, and thanks to you as well. Appreciate your support and getting all of our questions addressed and working with us, and, Rumpke's provided generally fantastic service, and we know who to call when they don't, so.
Of course, if anything else comes up, you're my contact information. Good job.
Yes, we do.
Fantastic.
Do I have to have trustee Bullard sign this first?
Yeah, he said he'd be in tomorrow.
Okay.
So should I tell the other townships to wait to sign it until they receive the document from
You,
That's up to you, but that's what I would do.
okay.
So that everyone has the one original signature, then
Yeah.
copies made.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That works. Thank you all.
Thank you, take care.
That takes us to road department requisitions. I don't recall seeing a requisition.
I saw the roads update, so maybe it was just,
A placeholder.
a placeholder, yeah. Let me look real quick. No, I don't see any
Okay.
requisitions here.
So that takes us to the flashing crosswalk speed limit signs and subdivisions. I'll read what Superintendent Peden sent to us. It says, meet with Mike Love from DCEO Tuesday to discuss crosswalk and flashing lights on Pyatt Road. OLSD is purchasing and coordinating with the county on installation January, February timeframe. Weather permitting, the township will be removing one crosswalk, which includes sign striping and curb ramps with strip. I think it means stripe. We'll stripe the crosswalk where the sign is and replace the curb ramps with conventional curb gutter and sidewalk. I did meet with Old Tangier School Board, as I mentioned at the last meeting. That I would be in attendance was Road Superintendent Peden, myself, the Assistant Superintendent. He didn't state what his name was, so I'm not really sure what his name was. Rob Riley was there, as well as Doug Riedel, and it might have been Mike Love. The meeting was very cordial. I made no commitments on behalf of the township, not that I could, but they tried to get me to, and they knew me well enough not to try too hard. And the school wanted it to happen. Now, what the school board position is that they are doing these signs, paying for it, coordinating with the county to have them installed. I think really what's happening is the county isn't installing it, but their vendor who has bid is able to do that. Or maybe it's a quote, but regardless, it's going through it, and then the school is paying either the county or the vendor. But what the school wanted a commitment for is that if they need to be improved, that the township will be responsible. I mentioned that I did not think that the Pyatt Road would be that busy to require that unless and until Rollison, Pyatt, and Rollison is all connected. And at that point, I would expect the county to take that road over, in which case they could discuss it at that point. So as you can see, no commitment on the township's part. I don't see ever putting in the Hawk. Now, the Hawk is $75,000 to install in today's dollars. And so I don't know that it'll ever need to be done. In the whole county, there's only 2.
I concur with what you mentioned here, and I think what we could do is if there were any maintenance required prior to the connection being built, the township could commit to supporting those efforts.
And I think that that's something that we just would do. So I don't want to make a commitment because we could just do it.
But
And
suggestion.
they've already agreed to it, so.
Okay. But it's the same thing, saying the same thing. We would help if it was still township road at that time, and
Well,
it's not, it
and-
really isn't our.
So the discussion that the county had was that really, it's when somebody runs into it and takes them out and are uninsured. Because if they're insured, the insurance will cover the replacement of the
Mhm,
lights.
Mhm.
But if they're uninsured, you know how that goes.
mhm. Mhm. Great, okay.
So that, hmm?
What is a hawk?
Okay, so a hawk is the lights, like, you remember the old railroad crossing that goes over the road?
Yes.
So it would be one of those, and it would stop traffic, so when you push a button, it would turn a red light.
One in downtown Worthing. Got it.
But,
There is one down. But the signals we're talking about are the flashing yellow lights.
yes,
Right.
well, they might have, they might be white,
Okay, no, wait,
but that does not give you road right away until you're walking in the
yeah.
crosswalk, which is, you know, perilous today. I don't have road right away, I step in it, now I do.
Yeah.
Whereas the red light,
Yeah,
you know,
you can't go past it.
yes,
That's spelled Hawk.
all capital letters.
It's an acronym, I believe, right?
It is, but I don't know what it
I don't know
stands
what it
for.
stands for.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Doug Riedel, discussion on, of options from Tinktown REA. I imagine that's coming in the future.
Yeah.
Linda Lane, we did get an update from Jesse Peden in this email that we will get a follow-up tomorrow. So apparently the county has been working on that, and we'll give something in writing tomorrow.
Mhm.
Road resurfacing invoice from the county engineer, Shelley Company, has that not been paid?
That's in the pile of checks.
Okay.
The 269,000 figure.
Okay.
Is and that is the last one in that pile of checks.
So when it says, I do see, oh, yes. That's why our total for this pay period is 303,000, which is kind of high.
Yeah, 34,000 for the other
Yeah.
20.
Excellent. So that takes us to cemetery, evergreen fence removal repair. I think we may want to put a hold on that until trustee Buller's here.
Yeah.
Sexton duties as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we can continue those on the agenda for the next year in the meeting. That takes us to fiscal officer items, payment lists. So I move that we approve positive pay file report dated 12/9/2024. Warrants number 32584 through 32607 for an amount of $303,654.47.
Second
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Real. Discussion?
is the Orange Township payment, is that again for is that for a truck or for the services related to the work that they provided?
I can't remember. It was $255, so I can remember the.
You can remember the amount?
I can't remember, but
I'll look at it, no problem.
I do want to look at one other thing, that $269,000 check. I think that the paperwork attached to it, Mr. Keaton initialed it or okayed it. Let's double check that.
Well, I discussed it with him.
Oh, did you?
He said it was completed.
Very good. Okay, I just want to make sure. On a $269,000 check, we're crossing those T's and dotting those up.
Absolutely, and then the check made out to you is for the repayment from the streaming.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't see my check for the reimbursement of the OTA funds. Remember, I registered for myself and then requested the reimbursement, and I sent you the invoice.
I missed it.
No problem, it's not urgent, I'll just re-forward it to you, and
Okay.
we can get that reimbursed for next time. And then, Kathy Ripple, what was that?
Postage.
Postage. I'll ask her if we need to do anything for postage for, other than that. And then Michael Swanson, that's for the trip to Florida, right?
I thought it was Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine,
Yes,
sorry,
thank you.
So I'm looking at it right now, I can read it to you. if you
Yeah.
like. So, In October, Michael Swanson was approved to attend the Fire Officer 1 course through building.
That's what it was, yeah. I just like to confirm, like, if we're paying individuals.
Yes, that makes sense.
All on the same page, even though I know that there's a spending limit, I just wanna do.
Well, we need to have that discussion at the organizational meeting when a person has authorization to a certain amount, how that then gets recharged.
Mhm.
Meaning, if they have a $250 spending limit, how do they get the next $250?
Mhm.
And we need that in minutes, and it needs to be township-wide.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure that I have a strong opinion, but I have a strong opinion that we don't really have that spelled out.
yeah. I know we have that paragraph description of up to this amount, if an emergency, this,
Yes.
that, so I think that would be a good place to add that and
Yes.
just clarify.
Yeah, but you might think about what you want. 'Cause,
Yeah,
if let's say, I'll pick one that's not fire department, roads department needs to buy $42 worth of bolts. Does he need to come in here and say, I spent $42 on bolts? But, okay, so I agree on that, but I don't agree in that we don't. If we don't say somehow or another, that goes towards your $250 and.
so now you have $206 left.
Yes, otherwise, if we don't have a way of recharging it, it's an unlimited. Because as long as I spend $250 on each item,
Oh, you're
so-
saying it wasn't it could be interpreted as not being $250 total for the month?
well, see, it says $250. To me, that meant, okay,
You meant per item?
no, what that means to me
Yeah.
is that they need to come in here to get it recharged.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, it really means unlimited. I can spend all the $249.
But it says
on all of it.
monthly, so I would think if they needed to come in, if they needed more money beyond that within the month,
So,
they would have to recharge it, but if
so,
when the month started over again, then it recharges each month.
so
That's what I,
maybe, so maybe we need to have calendar month or something like that.
Yeah,
Because it could be, when it comes to, I forget what kind of, term it is, but, when somebody is, sick for family leave,
FMLA.
FMLA, there's like 7 different ways you can define, a year.
Yeah.
So we just need it defined.
Yeah.
If it's defined, I can do it.
Okay. Could you send a Word document copy of last year's organizational meeting minutes to the board, Mr. Jordan? Because what we can do is maybe, I'll take a look at the language too, but if you want to modify the language in such a way that you think addresses that to make it clear,
Well,
I'm happy to also look at.
okay. What I don't want to do is make it difficult for roads, because roads has lots of little things that they all have to buy. And
Yeah.
I don't want to make it difficult for them, but I also don't want to make it carte blanche.
Right. No, I agree. I think that'd be good. And I mean, there's a number of things we need to address in the draft for that anyway. So if you want to take a look at that language,
I will take a look at it, but I'm not saying.
But don't
what I
write it-
come up with
yeah, and
is
don't-
what it needs to be.
yeah, that makes sense.
You got mail.
And you don't need to make that edit directly into it, or if you do, send it to me and then I'll put it in, because I want to have one master draft of the changes to be made on that day.
We need something, because when we get 12 drafts of it, it
I
gets
know,
so
it's so much, it's too
confusing.
much. And he's not gonna like that.
I know. I've been in that seat.
So why don't you, any changes that you want to make, why don't you send it to me the Friday before, and then I'll consolidate the drafts for that Monday.
Friday before, which I need a day.
The 20th, I believe is what it is. Or, what is it?
Friday the 13th is this Friday, so 20th is a
So
Friday.
the 20th, okay, you're right.
We got Friday the 13th this month.
Okay, so that takes, are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, so that takes us to legislation to establish.
We've got a motion pending.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Moved by chair, seconded by trustee Gale, please call roll.
Trustee Rail,
Yes.
trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
that was on the payment list, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that takes us to legislation to establish permanent improvement fund in the 4,300 range. I did like your suggestions on the one that had more flexibility.
Yeah. I agree.
Here they are.
Same resolution, different accounts?
Yes, UAN suggested two possibilities.
Oh, okay, so
And-
we're gonna pass one of these.
Yes,
Which,
correct.
which one was the one we were talking about?
The 951 one is sale of a
Fixed
fixed
asset.
asset. The 891 one is other
Mis-
miscellaneous non-operating
Which
income.
one, so that was the one with more
Yes.
flexibility.
And I kind of wondered if that one, I can render a legal opinion, but I kind of wonder if that one maybe offers a little more flexibility in
Mhm.
spending.
Yes. So I move that we approve a resolution establishing a special fund for the construction or acquisition of permanent improvements and paying $6,644 from the sale of a public improvement into the fund 4301-891-000, other miscellaneous operating.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Real. Discussion. Please call roll.
Trustee O'Brien,
Yes.
trustee Rail.
Yes.
RFP for a financial transaction technology installation.
All right, we've got from Mr. Stocco, a resolution. But what the draft that he had also wanted to include the contract.
Yeah.
Which we didn't have yet. My report I got today is that Payrock has a 55-page contract form that they use. Mr. Stocco is looking through that. There's a little waiting to do there. Waiting, W-A-D-I-N-G.
Yes.
He will report back to us with his approval or proposed changes.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I may recommend that we potentially take action from a resolution standpoint pending the prosecutor's office approval of the contract and the removal of e-checks altogether.
Yes. I don't really have to go into why.
No. I don't think we did. We all agree. Yeah. So do you have that resolution?
Do not have it printed, I can't print it.
Yeah, I re-forwarded it to you, but actually, let me do this. Let me go into it and
So.
directly modify
Can
it.
I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
So that, we approve it pending, acceptance of the county prosecutor's office as to form and authorize you to sign, to execute the documents. That way, we don't sign a document that has to be modified. And if it is not approved to form, then of course we'll have to bring it back before the board.
Approved to form, you mean, by that you mean the current 55 page as it exists today, or you mean, because if they were to modify it, it would only be to take out, in my view,
Indemnification.
indemnification and e-checks. And I don't think we need to bring it back for that.
Well,
Could I say
well, no,
approved to
well,
form?
well, Mary.
Yeah.
Once it's been modified, he'll approve it to form.
I like the idea of
I'm
creating
gonna say it doesn't have to
parameters.
come back again.
Yeah, I like the idea of creating parameters insofar as if it's not one of those two things and there's some other change, I would need to come back to inform the board before,
Okay.
not that I'm saying that that has to happen, that will happen, but I like the idea of having that in place as a,
If it's not indemnification, if it's
Yeah.
not e-checks.
Yeah.
Then you come back before the board, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's perfectly.
I'll add, your favorite word, notwithstanding, removal.
I hate that word.
That nevertheless.
Approved to form, with, satisfying indemnification, with removal of indemnification.
The board indemnifying them. They can indemnify us, but we can't indemnify them.
Indemnification clauses, and, processing of, e-checks. Okay. Pending approval from the county prosecutor,
Office.
county prosecutor's office. For the contract, approved to form with removal of board indemnification clauses, and processing of e-checks. That makes sense, right? Okay. So, and then,
So- When you sign for the board executing a document that has all three signature lines,
Mhm.
you sign yourself, but you put the resolution number that gave you the authority to do it.
And then I'll say a copy of which will be provided pending approval from the county prosecutor's office, as approved to form with removal of board indemnification and processing of e-checks. Okay,
And the name of the company is,
payroll, yeah.
I just want to make sure because we had another potential.
That's what you recommended, right?
It's Payrox something systems or something like that.
Okay,
Is
well,
it in
they
there?
had us, no, it has a spot for you to fill in.
I thought I did.
I mean, when your recommendation included it, I'm working on the resolution.
Yeah, I thought I put that in the resolution. Fine.
Oh. Well, I'm modifying the original, so
Okay.
that probably makes sense. Okay. And let me add,
Payrock Payment Systems LLC.
Payrock Payment Systems.
Payroc.
And then I am gonna put in the resolution too that I'm authorized to do such. That the township fiscal officer presents ordinance that entities that provide a proposal. And you're fine with notifying that we need to go with them, the other people?
I'm
You're
sorry?
fine with notifying the other companies?
Yes.
Okay. That all formal actions of the board concerning related to the passage, okay. So I'm gonna add a D here. That trustee Rail is authorized to execute, contractual agreements, and the associated, documents related to implementation, on behalf of the board, on behalf of the Berlin Township Board of Trustees. Okay. I'm gonna save this right now, and then I'm gonna send it to you with my attorney, and you sign it. We'll bring it forward for, be right before decision tonight.
Another note, is this the language for the organizational meeting and?
Yes,
Obviously, I would edit some things out there, but I would.
yeah,
Trustees will meet, organizational meeting 2020.
yeah. I think we would just remove everything and then the end of the year meeting, Monday,
The organizational.
23rd, 2025, Monday. Yeah, that's good. And then maybe retain the special meetings. That's perfect. Okay, Okay, I just sent that to you all, so we can print that out. Thank you for indulging.
The motion.
When he brings out the resolution, I'll have you just take a quick gander at it. And then we'll bring it forward. And that's the one that has me authorized on it, or new D. Under D. That's the first one I sent, and I sent you a second.
Oh.
Just now.
Okay, I thought it seemed a little blank. I was like, I'm missing some stuff.
You should have a newer one that just, an email that's titled RFP that just came through. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
And should be under C and D on page 2. B, C, and D.
Okay, so the way this reads to me is that we approve and a copy of which is pending.
Mhm.
Not the resolution is pending, just the copy is pending. The punctuation maybe. The board hereby approves the agreement with Payrock LLC for the processing of it for Berlin Township, comma, a copy of which will be provided pending. So the copy is pending, not the resolution.
Can we say, board approval for which is pending? Is pending approval.
I don't know if I would use word, can I think just a moment? It's contingent, not pending.
I'm gonna change that. Yeah, I agree with that. I like contingent, actually. That's right. Contingent upon approval by the county prosecutor's office of the contract to form with the removal of board indemnification clauses and processing of any fee checks.
So where's the punctuation on the end?
There's no longer an and. It's that the board hereby approves the agreement with Payrock for the processing of financial transaction devices for Berlin Township, contingent upon approval by the county prosecutor's office of the contract to form with the removal of board indemnification clauses and processing.
I would have and the removal. And with the removal. And the, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Read the second part just so that I'm making any changes.
The second part of
This,
yeah, I read
Okay.
that was fine.
you're fine with that, okay. All right, I'm gonna resend this, Jeff. Thank you, and my apologies.
While you're doing that, Fiscal Officer Jordan. So I don't know if you can do this, but I think you can do it. So when you open the books, if you can put down the resolution number with the PO or the BC, because like here, I'm having a hard time knowing if the fire chief had authorization to spend as much as he did. Because if we approve the uniforms by a resolution, he doesn't need to come in again.
Right.
But that'll be on, there's a place that allows you to put resolution number. Because I don't know, did he do the uniforms and did he do, there was something else that was kind of expensive.
Flowers?
Common sales and services. These are necessary things that we would approve. However, if we're gonna have a policy, we need to follow it. And
I agree.
I don't know whether or not
Okay.
he needs to come in for a resolution. Because if he needs to, and I need to tell him, you need to. But if he's already done it, I don't want to go back and say, hey,
Did you need to do it? Yeah.
yeah, because he's already done it.
Right.
And so because it'll allow you to just type that in when you do the PO or the blanket. Because I don't know if we have at the organizational meeting a line that says you have authorization to do uniforms, okay? So you may do BCs that don't have a resolution, and so the flag in my mind,
Right.
okay, you do need to come in. So it's taken it, I mean, you have it appropriated from your standpoint, but he doesn't have it appropriated in the standpoint that we don't need to approve it in a meeting.
Correct.
Because I don't want to make your life more difficult, I'm actually trying to make it easier, because if you can just type that in when you have a resolution, it will be easier for you when you do the POs. Because if we do this addition to here, you'll get thrown a lot of, what do you have authorization or she? Okay, thank you.
And then I resent that,
Want to bring it?
yeah.
Do we want to fill in the date and the resolution number and so on?
We can handwrite that.
I'm sorry?
We can handwrite that,
Okay.
unless you want to put it in. You can put it in right now if you want.
We can handwrite it, you're right. Make sure that I got the new one.
Yep, this is right.
Okay.
Move to approve what resolution number is this now?
24-12-7.
24-12-7. Move to approve resolution 24-12-7, accepting the proposal and approving an agreement with Paycor Payment Systems LLC, processing of financial transaction devices for Berlin Township.
Moved by trustee Rail, second by the chair, discussion. So it does have these modifications that we have been discussing.
Mhm.
Further discussion, please call the roll.
Trustee O'Brien.
Yes.
Trustee Rail.
Yes.
That takes us to 2025 budget, including discussion of significant potential expenditures.
I did receive a
Should we step out? I'm sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting. We're supposed to be here at 7 o'clock for a trustee meeting, but we're early. If you want us to step out, we can do that.
No, you can stay.
Okay.
What's at 7?
It's at 7.
Am I wrong?
What's at 7?
We were supposed to just attend something, we said it would be, we're the Estates of Berlin Development. And they had us on the agenda for the night, but there wasn't a meeting being set that said come just in case. Does that make sense? Ready to grow, Estates of Berlin.
Who told you to come?
Kathy told Joe Ruby with the agency, not that we were gonna say anything, but
Oh, it's just the scheduling of the hearing.
No, we've already scheduled the hearing.
Why is it on the agenda?
I heard it's scheduled for the 23rd.
Yeah.
That, I can leave if that's okay.
I mean, and you're welcome to stay, but there's nothing other than,
We won't be talking about it because,
That's fine.
because it's scheduled for the 23rd.
That's what we heard, but I'm just being paranoid, came just in case you wanted it. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I
welcome to stay.
No, not necessarily. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the 2025 budget?
I did receive from Fire Chief Taylor a number of items that quite a bit of information, which you all received as well. I did not receive any particularly the big talking items that, from, big money items from roads or zoning, or cemetery. Jackie is talking about going after the moles out in the back here. That's not very big. I have my recycle.
Well, except for if it requires pesticide, it turns into a big one.
Yes, it does. I do have Claudia Smith working with me to help me get me through. We were here today and we've got a little bit of a start, so.
So one thing that I would like to make the board aware of is that we need, in my view, to be clear that, so when we appropriate this money, it doesn't mean that the various departments can just spend the money. It just means that it's allocated for the fiscal officer for the,
Budgetary year.
yes, I forget the terminology because you don't want to do a temporary appropriation, you want to do a final appropriation. Although, that's really your call, fiscal officer Jordan. I know that the previous fiscal officer liked to wait and do permanents and not do it twice. She didn't want to do the work twice. But the problem with that is you got to know your numbers, because if you go to change your temporary, your permanents, it's hard. You got to come back here, you got to do all sorts of things. If you do a temporary, it's just temporary and you can make those adjustments on your own. But you have to do it twice because by the 31st, you have to make them final appropriations.
Right, I've had that conversation with her, and yeah, you're exactly correct. Mrs. Smith, does not like to do a temporary budget, to do a temporary that runs for 90 days into the year, and then come back and do it again. It's interesting, I went to a training, the end of year training last week on the 5th, and of course, that's all they talked about, was doing it temporary. I almost feel like it was pretty much a waste of the day, because if Claudia is going to help me and that's the way we're going to do it, then I don't know.
Well, but I
learned some basics, so.
and I think that we should, maybe not this year, but I think that maybe we should implement that, for, like, we were in, I think one year there was something that we wanted to, approve, and we weren't able to do it because we didn't have the temporary approved budget. So I think there could be, to your point, fiscal officer Jordan, a condition under which, the small stuff, get that in, but might be something that we approve on a temporary basis.
So my view is that temporary is easier, but more work.
Mhm.
Permanent, an immediate permanent appropriation is harder, but you only have to do it once. It's less work
Mhm.
if you don't need to make an adjustment.
Right.
And he's got a little bit, so, and when she said we couldn't, I'm not so sure we couldn't. It was just that it would have been a ton of work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is I don't know that, it's fine for this year, but I don't know that we necessarily want to utilize that same policy moving forward. I could see conditions under which temporary might be appropriate.
But what I want to make clear to the board is that approving this is not approving a budget. We use the term budget, but that's not really what this is. It's appropriations.
Yeah,
Whereas budget, some of the department heads think that means they can spend that.
yeah, we're in agreement, we're in alignment on that.
Okay, but we need to make that clear to the.
What we need to make that clear is in the organizational meeting
Yes.
minutes, to your point
Yes.
earlier.
Yes.
And so that's why I think you working on that section would be particularly helpful
Yes.
to set us up for success moving forward.
Thank you. That takes us to vision dental policy with principal 2025 renewal open enrollment. I did see your email. I am always irritated with our insurance.
Okay.
And it's because it's last minute. And
Yeah.
it's, do you want it or do you want it? Yes.
Yeah,
And I don't appreciate that. And that's why when they come here, they don't come here because I don't appreciate that. But I want it because we have to.
it's great.
Sure.
Now,
That's why they're that way.
yes, but, so the board may want to consider in the future, if they want to continue with who we have, but you have to start so far ahead.
So far,
I mean,
yeah,
you almost have to start a year ahead, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
yeah.
And,
Well, I appreciate his analysis,
I don't have a
but it
problem with
always comes like so late and after you've asked now twice for the exact same thing. And each time he doesn't bring that and you say, this is what we want, and he'll do it, and that's fantastic. So just do it in advance and send it earlier. And I think that I would want to give him that feedback first. But then I know
that.
that
He's gotten that feedback.
but then I also know that the markets do shift a little bit.
I do-
And so there's,
I do appreciate that, and it goes kind of like this temporary versus permanent.
yeah.
Because he does it, he'll have to do it again by the time, we
Mhm.
decide. That's what it's paid for, though, in my view.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, so what do we need to do with that, including,
Do you have the resident?
do you have the resolution, the amount?
All I've got is the email that he sent, I forwarded. I don't have
What's the title? I have a lot of emails from you.
I don't know if you can.
Right there, forward principal dental, there it is.
And we do have to stay with relatively the same because of our collective bargaining.
Yeah,
So we can't say no. We can't say no at this point.
checking back with you, did he reach out to you earlier? That we weren't aware of, Jeff, maybe?
it's possible.
Yeah. And I also just feel like we deal with this all the time. Like, it doesn't feel like there's like a year-long break, you know? It just feels like every 3-4 months we're dealing with something with this, and it's urgent.
Mhm.
And do we still, is there still the condition that we should notify the union?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, if we were going to kill it, we'd have to do an MOU. We could not just kill
Yeah.
it. And if we wanted to do a major change, we'd have to do that. But we don't have to notify them like we used to.
Okay.
Because what they wanted before was to give a competing
Yeah.
bid.
We don't, yeah.
If we keep it as it is, they don't really have. It's kind of like they don't have a say, but we also don't have a say. We have to keep it. And that's as it is currently. That's not to say it'll always stay that way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to answer his question, please have them supply us with materials. And maybe and tell him to have copy all members of the board on future emails.
Yeah, we need to take action on this at the year-end
Organization.
meeting, or probably the year-end meeting.
Yeah,
Although it may not matter, but I think it'd be better. And, Fiscal Officer Jordan, those 2 minutes, I will get feedback to you very quickly, because I know that you need to close the books and open the books. So if I have revisions on the year-end meeting or the organizational meeting, I'll get that to you almost as soon as you send us those minutes.
yeah, and, I will also have handbook updates.
Um,
There'll be a few of those. that we'll
Will there
need to
be,
discuss.
will there be, evaluation changes?
Mild modification, but we could talk about something more substantive in the meeting. If you have a proposal, just,
Let's just chat just a little bit about right now, is that I would like there to be a place on feedback of, when a trustee requests information or action, how do they follow through on that?
what do you mean?
Well, so because one trustee cannot tell somebody what to do, you know, a liaison has a little more authority. But if I ask for something, I want to know, did they follow through? You know, they don't have to give me what I want, they just need to inform me. That is my view. So if you ask the fire chief for something, he doesn't have to do anything, but he needs to get back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And same thing with zoning. If I ask zoning something, they need to get back with me, I think. They don't have to do what I direct them to do, because I don't have that authority to do it.
but you kind of do have that authority.
Okay, but I think I would like that in the notes, are they following?
Yeah, yeah. I'll take a look at that and make sure that I speak directly to that, anything I modify. For me, the big one is communication.
Well, that's really what this is, but I want it to be followed. So if I ask about touch truck, I want an answer about touch truck. If I ask about, the stone facing on the wall for zoning, I want an answer. I don't want them to I don't wanna say, do something,
Yeah,
but I wanna know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I want them to inform me, you know. You
no,
can tell them
I
to
get what
do
you're
something.
saying, I understand. But I still think that I can tell, maybe I'm just not understanding my role as not being a liaison. I think I still have authority to go to roads and fire and say, you know, please provide me with an update on this.
Well,
And
that's-
that they need
but
to
that's-
respond to that.
That's, yes, I want an agreement. But if I say, go fix this road, I don't have to do that.
Yeah, okay, we're on the same page. So for the budget, significant expenditures, I believe I already mentioned that I'd like $40,000 set aside for, technological, expenses and upgrades. I'm not saying that we will spend that much, but I just want to allocate that in the event that that's what the need is.
So did you get a chance to?
I did, I don't like it, I still don't like it, I still think we need a secondary.
So are you saying using the county but having a backup?
Yes,
Yeah, I don't know.
okay. I'm actually quite disappointed in that language. I almost would like to go back and see if we can't do something a little bit different with that.
So what they used was a template
Yeah,
that the others had. So you're a good negotiator, go negotiate. I have no problem with it
Yeah.
being to our advantage.
yeah, I might go back on, but I definitely think we need a backup company based on that.
But I will tell you this,
What?
a lot of that language came from when I was county commissioner. I said, we're not committing.
Well, yeah, I can see.
I have a different hat. now.
Yeah, I'm very surprised at how favorable it was to the county, so it makes a lot of sense. But it's definitely not to our advantage, so I was like, yeah,
That's all.
I agree with that. It read like you. The sole, the main priority shall remain the county, and I was like.
So, it's very hard to negotiate against yourself, and I intentionally do that, and I
When you spread that, did you crack yourself up on that? Different hat, different time,
well,
and now you're representing
the
us. so.
same thing happened with the fire station, because with EMS, and
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so,
that,
$20,000 for technology,
you said 40, right?
I'm sorry, $40,000 for technology. I'd like to say $15,000 for, physical building maintenance for the township hall. That may include upgrading of the trustees office to create furniture, like getting cubicles or something like that in
I
there.
think you should ask for
More?
Because quite frankly, I'm not gonna initiate this,
Yeah, you won't be there.
but the bulletin boards are really sort of out of date.
Yeah.
They need replaced.
Let's go to 25,000.
Okay, because there's some other things
I
that,
also think we need to paint. You see these scrapes along the wall here.
and it's just regular. I mean, we let people use it, they pay their deposit fee, like that door needs to be painted, but it always is something to be repainted because people use it and we want them to use it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look good.
Somebody should have paid for that wall scraping because it actually damaged the drywall.
I totally agree. We almost need a video camera
Yeah,
before
before.
when a key fob is given.
Yeah. Well, I requested of Kathy that she go and she look around.
Doesn't she?
I don't know to the extent that she notices things.
Part of the problem though is weekends. So the fobs, I think, are timed. So you have a Friday night
Yeah,
and then a Saturday
definitely.
night.
And there were two, like when that glass got broken, there were two parties there and neither party confessed. You know, and obviously I wouldn't expect to have her come in on the weekend alone.
Right, and
Yeah,
but other days,
yeah, and maybe having a checklist, like there was glitter in here.
It's on the floor and will
Still
forever be
there.
on.
Right, and that wall really bothers me because, I don't even know what they did, but it's dragged all the way across and you see it mess with the window molding.
Yes.
And that looks not so great now. But we do need to paint this anyway, and I want to go with with a very similar color, slightly more tint of light gray to the blue.
I don't think trustee Blord will have a problem with that.
$25,000 for township hall maintenance and upgrades, is that a better language?
No, that's fine. And then 40,000 for technology,
Yeah, got
and
that.
then ensuring that we have the monetary funds for the township administrator set aside, which I believe Claudia did last year.
She did.
And then, I think I have one other one.
Yeah, we're way over budget on the administrative salaries because, yeah, she had probably $100,000.
Over or under budget?
Ooh, under, we are under budget.
Yeah.
We have that much,
Not
we have that much left over.
Yeah. And then, zoning, the administrative fees for lawyers for next year. So if we're gonna retain, the three different organizations, I think we should probably set aside 10,000 each so $30,000 for zoning related, attorney expenses.
And what I have requested is going to be a very significant number, but I don't know what it is coming from roads, so that we've allocated money that's going to have to be spent in the future in a permanent improvement fund. And so fire has taken care of itself, so I don't have anything additional so far.
And then as you prepare, Jeff, for the meeting as well, I believe Claudia knows this, but the meeting minutes, the notes that we have, we'll modify a lot of it, but the fiscal officer does the monies, like if we choose to do a cost of living increase, the old salary from this year of what it was, and then the new salary of what it will be based on our percentages for next year. And that should be what you prepare in advance for that meeting. And you'll want to add Jenna. Jenna's a new position, and I think we had an assistant zoning inspector. You want to add Jenna as a new position, and you want to add meeting minute note taker. Right now, from last year, it's listed under paying Teresa Taylor for minutes or something, but I think we should just say meeting minute note taker or something like that. And I don't think there's anything else the fiscal officer needs to prepare for that one. Oh, the holidays, and the holidays for 2025. I think that will be good, right?
And that'll be sufficient.
And then you already wrote a note out to cemetery. Thank you for that. I'll write a note. Did you write a note to Kathy and Levi about zoning fees?
I did.
Okay, so they'll get back to you on that, and you can modify the document. Anything money associated should be updated on your behalf.
The one thing that people always want to increase, but it's in statute, is the driveway permits, so that has to stay where it's at. It doesn't matter how much a year it costs, you can only charge what statute allows.
I know, but don't you feel like it's a little bit contradictory in the sense of they say that it has to be actual expenses to the township, and we lose money on that? Okay. Thank you for validating my.
You're trying to make sense out of what
Very well. Okay.
So that takes any other fiscal officer items?
Well, we skipped over a retirement.
Okay.
There are two facets here. One is the fire, what is attached there, that's, Burnham. There's a check there for Burnham.
So, there was discussion about potentially raising it. I stick with, what's in collective bargaining. We need to keep what we have and not raise it.
Okay,
Because even if you increase, a benefit, that requires negotiations. So
okay,
I don't want to reopen the collective bargaining.
okay. What I did, I don't know if you noticed, there were 3 checks there. And, for that, to Burnham. And the reason why I did that was they gave 3 different premium levels. The current, a little bit higher, a lot of it higher.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, the first check is the current, the second check is, well, if we're gonna go to the second level, the third is if we go to the third level.
Yeah.
What I will do then is I will check the first, the current box, keep it the same, and just send the first check and void the other 2.
So we probably should do a resolution, approving.
Can I see that spending sheet? Is that what, is on the spending sheet you're talking about, the burner?
Yes.
I think you have it. Unless you pass it around.
Here it is. Okay. I got what you're saying. Got it. Got it.
So I will be voiding,
Based on, because we're gonna stick with the present,
yeah,
so you'll be voiding the 2,000.
32,605 and 32,606.
Okay, you wanna put something forward here?
Okay, so
So should we not sign those checks either?
yeah,
We shouldn't have
we
signed.
should just put vote in.
Yeah, okay.
So first, let's move to
Modify?
modify the resolution regarding costs of paid file report dated 12/9/2024 to include the exclusion of warrants 32605 and 32606 for an amount of $666 and second one of $811.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion, please call roll.
Rail,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes. So then we need to approve the Burnham Flowers quotes, maintaining coverage as it currently stands. So moved.
Second.
Moved by chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion, please call roll.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Rail.
Yes. Okay,
And that's got it.
great.
And I think that's all 4 fiscal officer items for this meeting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. That takes us to trustee items, protocol related state mandated fraud training.
Yeah, I think we're making great progress. We have the form approved for new hires that will replace the prior just signature that you reviewed it. So we've implemented the new protocol for new hires within their first 30 days to receive that. And then also, all of zoning is now complete. And I believe we're making great progress with the fire.
I thought fire was complete with Wayne Hart's,
Is there
resignation. No, maybe there was.
There was one more, what was his, Benson.
Yeah.
Vincent?
Benson is of the original list, Benson is the last who has either not actually, we've got a certificate or a resignation.
Okay, so chief is following up with them.
Chief is following up with
Yes,
Benson.
he is.
Okay, and then, let me just confirm. thought there were a couple that, okay. Done. And we had the pay cups, Austin and Daniel completed.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So yeah, other than Benson, we are all set with either retire resignations or completions.
Excellent. That takes us natural disaster.
I recommend we remove this
Okay.
protocol from the agenda moving forward at this time. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Natural disaster mutual aid for townships. I don't have anything to report on that.
Wasn't there didn't they ask us to reply in urgency to something recently?
I think that's the next one, the Delaware County 2024 multi-hazard mitigation.
Yeah, multi-hazard mitigation. Okay, then nothing on the mutual aid.
So that does take us to the next one, 2024 multi-hazard mitigation plan.
Okay, I believe Trustee Bullard was working through this, wasn't he?
I think so, but I don't know so.
Okay, is there a deadline for which we need to have this addressed this evening?
I don't think so.
Okay, let me see. I'm sending out bi-yearly emails to stakeholders who have mitigation actions in their plan to check if any actions on these actions have been taken. If you have not taken any actions or have nothing you wish to communicate, please let me know. I'm happy to reply on a couple of these. Develop and enforce land use plans and zoning codes that regulate locations of hazardous material storage and processing facilities, pass fill locations, and transportation routes.
See, what I'm unclear about is what those numerals stand for.
I think they are in this bigger spreadsheet that is attached as action items that maybe they were wanting to focus in on.
But how many of them are for the township?
Like, let's look at like one. Okay, so I think 7 was the first one or something. This is cities and villages, Delaware County. Township, Thompson.
Can you word search for one and see?
Yeah. Let me just confirm. I saw Concord was in here, so looks like Berlin's not in here at all.
See, that's why I didn't think it was.
But it's like update zoning and land use planning policies in areas near, does that say Delma? Oh, dams. Yeah, we're not in here at all as of right now. I can write back, I'm happy to write back and just say, after reviewing the document, it doesn't appear there's anything that Berlin Township needs to update at this time. Please let me know if otherwise.
I like it.
Okay.
Do you want a moment to do that or do you
Yeah.
want me to move on?
Move on.
Okay, well, the next one's TIF hours and hours.
I don't have any updates on that.
Request for permission to open cut, that I believe Trustee Bullard was working on, so let's keep that for the next meeting. We've dealt with the RFP for a joint waste and recycling contract.
Yep.
Significant monetary donation, I believe Trustee Bullard was working on. JET options.
Same. I also had an email follow up with Allbirds and Allbirds. They're doing work because we're paying them. So I know things are moving along, but they might not have any update for us. I'll check in and send an update actually tomorrow morning to them, and request an update tomorrow morning.
Parks and Trails Committee update?
I remember adding this for a particular reason. I sent the letter to them for the processing of that Safe Route to School thing. And I think that they're working with the county. Was there any follow-up from that? Okay.
Okay, good. I did notice that on the next item, Brochus, Johnson, and Griggs, they want to update their fees.
Yes. Let's see that one.
Can we say no?
Let's see if they have a request or if it's a question or a statement. Okay, so.
It's always a statement.
Yeah, I believe it's only 20, not only, but it could be a lot more substantive. I think it's only $2,500 for the full partner fee, which we do utilize the full partner. And, 180 for a senior associate and 120 for law clerk time.
As opposed to,
I don't know what the other ones were. I know that that what we processed was 200 for the partner.
do I have a motion?
I don't think we need a motion, do we?
They sent along a resolution. There's a letter with the,
Yeah, but this is for the 2025 year, which I would think we would, I mean, I can do it now, but I would think that we would do this in the year-end meeting, or the organizational meeting. I think we even have something in the organizational meeting to this effect. But I can do it now.
No, I'm okay with waiting.
Okay.
all right,
But we'll need this on, we should do it on the organizational meeting. Do we have any other updates, do you know,
any
Fee.
other fee
that they're
increases?
charging us?
Well, I don't want to go out and ask anybody.
No, but I just wondered if they have.
Mr. Reinhardt was asking about the check that you signed, the 2240, and he didn't say anything about it.
Okay, if they do, just put it on the organizational meeting. We can
Yes.
discuss it, please. Okay. Zoning Department transfer employee pay.
Yes, we can either go into executive session for that, or we can talk about the language in open session. That's related to the holiday pay discussion that we had last meeting.
So is it substantively different than what I would anticipate?
No.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Well, we have to review the language that was sent, because I do think you'll want to wordsmith this bit.
Okay. You know the date?
I don't think it was forwarded. My apologies. I thought you guys were all on this. Here. Sending it now. Yes, I thought you had a chance to review it.
What are we looking for?
I just emailed it, so it would be an update to the policy. So I sent him a draft of our language. I sent him exactly what we had mentioned.
So it's listed as transfer of employee pay, but it's not that.
It's not transfer of employee pay, it's transfer employee pay, but that was because we weren't sure if we were gonna discuss sick time or holiday time. I think.
Right, but the discussion really is holiday pay, right?
Yes, correct. This is reimbursement for holiday pay. And so what you'll see at the bottom paragraph is what I sent along, and as the form of our general discussion, and his edits are in bold and crossing out.
Okay. Okay, and what is it that you think I want to wordsmith?
His proposed edits to what I proposed. If you're good with what he wrote, then we're fine with that language.
Well, are you asking me, do I want this?
No, if you're good with the language. If the language is accurate to the description,
I think it is.
okay.
Maybe we should go into executive session for very briefly, because
Well, if we're gonna do that, then executive session, there also was tower co litigation, possible executive session. I
we
don't
have to
know.
have, I didn't put the note either, but
Did
we
you?
have to have an attorney.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't sure what that was. Was Chris gonna come or?
Not to my knowledge.
Jeff, for tower co litigation under zoning, possible executive session, you know what that's from?
Yeah, I put, why did I say tower co-litigation? Somewhere, for some reason, there was tower co-litigation. Why I put down possible executive session was so that we could do it if we had to, if we wanted to.
Was there somebody?
I'm trying to remember, no, why was it that
Did somebody say that we needed to meet? Because this is new, this wasn't on the last
Yes,
section.
no,
Okay.
it was, I put it on there so, something made me put it on there so that we could discuss it if we had to, and now I'm drawing a complete blank.
Let me see, I'll just say move to recess into executive session from regular session pursuant to RC 121.22 G1, hire, firing, compensation, discipline, of a public employee or official with all members present, trustee O'Brien, trustee Rail, and fiscal officer Jordan.
And if trustee board should appear, he would be included as well.
Friendly amendment.
Second, moved by trustee Rail, seconded by trustee O'Brien. Discussion, please call the roll.
Real,
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes. Now we're in executive session.
Move to return to regular session from executive session.
Second, moved by trustee Rail, seconded by trustee O'Brien. Discussion. Please call the roll.
Brian,
Yes.
Rail,
Yes.
The board did meet in an executive session. No actions were taken, no decisions were made. So we have on the agenda transfer employee pay, but I think really we're talking about holiday pay. Is there further discussion on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing because it's about, the question of, when somebody starts with the township, how do we end up, working through the holiday pay? And as stated in the handbook right now, within the first 6 months of, the employee's start date, there is no pay for holidays, and put days in parentheses, holiday or holidays, within that first 6 months of employment. However, I did have the opportunity to speak with our attorney who handles a lot of our personnel issues, and they were able to provide a draft of the language that I hope would be amenable by the board for consideration at this time.
So is there a motion?
Yes, and it includes basically the reimbursement of holiday pay following 6 months of continuous employment from the start date. So,
And that pay is at the rate they would make at the time with no overtime.
correct. And so I did I have prepared what I think would be policy that would end up. We would definitely want to put it in the handbook if it passes, which I can have prepared for the 23rd. Move to modify the holiday pay for new employees to the following. Any non-bargaining unit full-time employee starting on or after January 1st, 2021, going back to when our board was convened with the original members who are now part of our second board, and for whom there does not exist an additional resolution establishing parameters for holiday pay outside of the policy as stated in the handbook, and who is employed by the township when this policy is adopted or thereafter, shall, upon their 6-month anniversary of continuous full-time employment with the township, receive compensation for the holiday or holidays that occurred between their first day of full-time employment and their 6-month anniversary date. The holidays will be paid at the employee's rate of pay on the day of the respective holidays occurred. The pay shall be at the then applicable regular pay rate, i.e. no overtime rate. The supervisor must provide the necessary documentation and recommendation to the fiscal officer in order to initiate the processing of such payment.
Second. Moved by trustee Rail, seconded by the chair. Discussion.
I think this resolves some issues of potentially, somebody starting right before all the holidays, taking the holidays, and end up not making it past the new year. I also think it allows us to have a little bit more flexibility in hiring practices and making certain that we get right employee at the right time and don't need to be worried about holidays.
Understood. Please call the roll.
Rail,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes. That takes us to Pirate Road Commercial. Anything new on that?
No, I did ask Mr. Stocco about that last week. There is nothing new on that. I mentioned that the idea of potentially creating a new article with those articles for that included only those specific uses that then can be used during the zoning.
Yeah.
I didn't get a firm answer on that, but it seemed like that would be a good possibility
I think that's a better way of going at it.
in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't resolve our issue
I
as
understand.
of today.
That's why I think it's a good alternative, because what we've tried to do in the past isn't working.
Yeah, so I will be asking our zoning inspector to come up with some language for a potential article similar to what they would use, but limiting the uses and request that that be added as part of our updates to the zoning resolution that we plan to pass again next year with those different minor modifications, details, and add that
Thank you. Buildings, structural damage, including potential remediation of nuisances.
in. I don't have anything on that for tonight.
Okay, Sycamore Trail. Did we find out whether or not it was part of the zoning, the landscaping?
No, and that is on me. I did not ask the question yet.
That's fine.
This was but the Sycamore Trail, it was, is that what that was?
Yes, because the landowner said that in return for the easement for the sewer, that they had gotten landscaping, mitigation. But if it's part of the zoning, it's on us to enforce it. If it's not part of the zoning, we have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, okay, I did initiate a little bit on this, now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, and where it was left off, I stated, could you advise on whether we, okay, and you're right, that was the consensus, and then I believe Levi was going to send the documents to Mr. Stocco. And there was something that included all disturbed landscaping and lawns shall be replaced in a manner equal to the existing landscaping. All trees will be replaced with the largest caliper available. In the event of a lesser caliper tree being replaced, developer agrees to provide a second tree on owner's property in the location to be determined by owner. The easement agreement is signed by Valerie Switek, member on behalf of Creekside Trail LLC. And then he said he would look in.
But that doesn't really answer the question to me as to whether it was part of the zoning.
Well, that's from the zoning document, the landscaping. Are we talking about the same thing? They, along with the neighbor, granted the developers a sewer easement in exchange for certain conditions to be met, one of which was a high concentration of pine trees. And then they're saying that the contract provided that information. But you're saying that's not part of the development plan.
That's what I'm asking. The question is it to be enforced by the township? And Assistant Prosecutor Stockbridge should be able to answer that fairly quickly. Not if it is something we have to enforce, that's a different question, how do we do that?
Yeah.
But is it something that we're supposed to enforce it between the two? Is it a civil thing or is it a zoning thing?
Yeah.
That's really all I'm asking.
Yeah, he indicated he wasn't aware of the township, township having any authority to withhold permits to individual lot owners based on failure to complete improvements to property not owned by that individual lot owner.
So, but that's different than a zoning violation.
Yeah,
I
it either is or is not a zoning violation, and that's all we need to answer. Okay. Keep this on the agenda, and I'll be able to get through that and have something for the 23rd. Okay.
Our next item is scheduling a hearing for one-step rezone of the estates of Berlin, and I think you probably have an announcement of the schedule.
Yeah, that's simply just to inform the public and the board that we confirmed a hearing date for the 23rd at 2 p.m. at the Township Hall, and notice has been already sent to the Gazette as a clarification. Notice it gets sent to the adjoining property owners for the zoning hearing. Notices do not get sent to the adjoining property owners for the trustee meeting that follows.
Well, but they were noticed, and so.
They were noticed about the zoning commission about the application going through.
So that's noticed.
And that's noticed, and there's the Gazette, and it is online. So if anybody has any questions, they should definitely look on the website because the packet exists on the website, the recording exists on the website to compare.
Well, once they've been notified of the zoning hearing for BZC, they've been noticed.
They've been noticed, and of course, we have the plan in the zoning office to review at their convenience. They can come in. Also, they can look on the website for the packets that went through the zoning. They can watch the recording. They've been noticed on all of that.
Well, and they can come and contact the fiscal officer because he has a copy as well.
Yeah.
Public available copy.
Yeah,
It also happens to be one of the adjoining property owners.
who was notified of the zoning meeting. Yeah, in this case.
Okay, so, just as a note, first time I noticed that.
Yeah, this is our first application for One Step. It did sound like there were some, concerns noted by the developer regarding the preparation necessary for the One Step. However,
That's what one step.
that's what a One Step is, first of all, and second of all, we are right in line with other rapidly expanding townships.
So I probably shouldn't use the word, I'm not sure of the definition. I can understand, because, I was in favor of the two-step when it originally happened, and for that reason. But I came to understand why the one-step is really the preferred way, even for them, if they're serious.
Yeah,
It's when they're not serious that it's burdensome, and then, well, if they're not serious, then.
and I think the two-step process made sense at the time, given that, there was a lot more informality about how to go about the process. The one step also not only is better for, in my view, the builder as well as the zoning commission, but also for, liabilities.
Well, and there's clarity, because people get confused. And when people are confused, they react badly because they either think one thing was and this is, or vice versa.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay,
I think this streamlines the process, so.
the next item is Tower Code, but I think we do not have anything for Tower Code.
No, we do not, actually, we do, so it might be good. I would like to provide a letter of update and post on the website and on social media regarding the dismissal of our federal case. I provided, if you may recall, I provided 2 updates on behalf of the board previously, and I'd like to provide an update regarding that and post to the website and board.
I move that we authorize trustee Rail to post information regarding the dismissal of the Tower Code federal litigation on social media and our website.
Second?
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Discussion?
Not just the dismissal, but also just a general update, and I'll work with Chris Reinhardt.
Friendly amendment,
Dismissal and general update.
And I'll also work with Chris Reinhardt to ensure that we're within the parameters of what can be discussed.
further discussion? Please call the roll.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Rail.
Yeah. Yes.
When we're talking about litigation, should we talk about any other litigation?
I don't think so at this time.
Okay, because I don't really see any reason to settle with anyone.
No. Full sail across the board right now. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I think that, We entrust our experts to represent our township well, and they've done so, as evidenced by a federal case being dismissed. And we'll continue to seek out guidance and do our best to, preserve and protect our township.
Excellent, thank you. That takes us to old business, evergreen trees, sign donation, and rules update. I'd kind of like to wait for trustee Bullard for that.
Correct.
Township administration updated.
I did have one update for that, and there's one applicant that indicated wanting to potentially meet with individual members of the board as opposed to meeting with the whole board.
Why?
Just timing wise,
Oh.
if we wanted to make it work earlier than, and I'm amenable to doing that.
I don't love the idea.
Okay, and I'm also amenable to, because I'll have time over the holiday break, doing either a special meeting or a daytime interview with folks, just me, or with the board as a special meeting.
I don't mind with just one of us, but I don't like individually. It's almost like round robin.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
But I like hearing the questions you ask and trustee Bullard asks. And then I just like, because we're focused on different things. And so if I only focus on my issues, I only get my issues answered.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I know that I concentrated on my issues because I know you have your issues and I can, I like having it together.
yeah,
Unless
That's
it's just a screening.
yeah, and I can do just a 15-minute screening, and then, based on that, schedule with the board from there. That's
I
what
don't mind weekends, I don't mind.
I'm thinking maybe it should be a special meeting though that we have to do
No, not a problem with
interviewees, because it just gets really complicated in a public hearing, in a public meeting where we have all this business to go through, and then we interrupt it with
I
the
agree.
interview.
I won't have a problem with that,
Okay.
but I just like the idea of all three.
Yeah, that's fine, and that's perfectly fine. So what I'll do is I'll initiate phone screening, and then let's have a special meeting at some point over my holiday break. That's amenable to you. I'll schedule and have interviews at a special meeting.
Sounds good. Okay, that takes us to access management plan. I'd like to have trustee Bullard here for that discussion, so if we can keep that on the agenda.
Mhm.
Collective bargaining agreement posted website. I asked again, Dave Riepenhoff, and he said, okay, and I still don't have it.
Mhm.
I don't know if he doesn't have it, but I don't have it, and I've asked again.
Okay. Ask if he has it,
Yeah, I should. I said, send it to me, but I didn't,
but you assumed it's because he had it.
Yes.
Maybe he doesn't have it, so maybe we can ask just so that we can get further down that line.
Any other old business?
No.
That takes us to future meetings.
I think this Thursday there's a DCTA meeting.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I will be there a little late, I believe.
I know the trustee board is not on.
Topic of our organizational review meeting. That looked like a good ad.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Kind of straightforward.
the same language that it had December 30th before.
Do we need change because it's a change?
Hmm.
Or we're
We'll
now?
reschedule.
Yes, I'd like to reschedule.
Is that okay?
You scratched out two. I was thinking you were two too also. But
Yeah. I want to add that to the following.
I think either way is okay.
Yeah, I think you save pay per character
Yeah. I thought that when I was saying.
No, that's
And
good.
legal
I think
ads,
that's good.
legal ads are much more expensive
They
than
are.
regular ads.
They are.
Okay, any other future meetings?
No,
Late items.
no.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by trustee Rail. Please call the roll.
Rail,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
You're adjourned.